before you get started, because I've known Art for a while, and I know Bill, another gentleman in his office, and they are truly working in your best interest, because I engaged them to help me when I first started looking to evaluate buying a business, franchise, whatever the case might be. And to this day, I have still a good, working relationship with them, and they just truly kind of manage you and ensure that you are doing the right things at the right pace, at the right time that's appropriate to you. And so I would personally recommend anyone that is looking to buy or sell their business to definitely talk to Art, because they do really care about putting you in the right place. And if that takes a long time, it takes a long time. If it takes an expedient amount of time, good. But yeah.
One of the things that I heard you say,
You're welcome.
one of the things that I heard you say often is the term due diligence. And that's great. The term due diligence.
Dressing that up for everybody?
Art's a nice guy.
Yeah, real nice guy.
He's a great guy. This guy Art, yeah.
Yeah, I love Art.
One of the things that I heard you say over and over again is the term due diligence. And I think that cannot be emphasized enough about what that means. But oftentimes that word gets treated as, kind of passing. When you have a person who's looking to sell their business, talk about the types of things that a business needs to have in that due diligence phase. When you have a buyer that's coming on board, let's talk about the structural things that you like to see as a broker so that you know that that's a legitimate business and not just some shell setup.
Financials, tax returns, and we're going to ask for tax returns from the seller, and we want 3 to 5 years tax returns and financials. What we really want to see as a business broker, when you get the financials, the P&L statement, the balance sheet, you want to see that the P&L statement pretty much matches up with the tax return. You want to see that we emphasize to the seller that if we do financing outside of seller financing, in other words, we use the SBA or we use a commercial bank or some other type of lender, in most cases, the SBA in particular will, most banks will, they will request a copy of your tax return that you filed with the IRS. Because with the age of computers and TurboTax and everything else, you can create any tax return you want to and give it to me, but when it comes time to borrow money, they want to make sure that this is the tax return that you actually
And they
filed.
get it from the IRS.
They get it from the IRS.
So it's not something like that. And that's an important point, because I had a business owner one time who owned a retail store, and he says, Dave, I don't report all of my money to the IRS. Okay. If that's what you choose to do, I mean, I don't advise it, but you don't need to tell me. But the most important thing, though, is he wanted to expand, and he wanted to then look for business loans and things like that. And I think, Art, your point is well taken, is you can't have it both ways. You can't go into somebody else and say, listen, I know you can get my tax returns, and it's only going to say I made $100,000, but guess what? I really made like $300,000. And so, paying taxes, although it's painful, because you don't want to, no one likes taxes, at the same time, you're building your credibility in terms of your business, because then no one's going to over-report taxes. Nobody in this room is going to say they made $1 million and paid taxes on $1 million just to say they made $1 million. I mean, no one does that, right? So people have a pretty good sense of what your business is by the tax returns that you file. So, keep that in mind too about your revenue. And I'll tell my clients this, some clients might get cash and they don't want to put the cash in the bank account because your accountant can see it or somebody can see it as revenue. And I try to say to them, you want to put that on record as being revenue. If you're ever going to sell your business or you want to let people know that this is a real good business model. Otherwise, you try to explain to them why you got this bunch of cash, but you don't have anything flowing in through taxes or your bank
And that's a real good point. We try not to deal with companies that do green cash, what we refer to as green cash, where money goes into their pocket, doesn't go by way of the IRS. And we explain to them exactly what David said. I mean, you did great for however many years you've been doing that because you avoided paying taxes on it. Now, unfortunately, you're gonna pay the price for it because we can't get you the actual price that your business is worth. We can only get you what it's worth based on your tax return. So if you're not gonna pay tax on that full 300,000, you're not gonna sell your business based on a full 300,000.